Hi everyone, Game Week 30 preview for ChampmanFPL. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you had a good Game Week 29. Said on the preview for that I thought there were points available all over the place. Wasn't easy to know who to captain, who to transfer in. It looked a fun week in terms of it wasn't obvious who to go for. I think it pretty much turned out that way, didn't it? Arsenal, the only shock result, really. I think off the top of my head, that's the only one that didn't go quite the way you'd expect. So yeah, 1 out of 10 results that doesn't go quite right. That's about probably about the norm, isn't it? Rare you get a week where absolutely everything goes how you'd expect. So result of that, some good scores this week. I think. So we've still got the same leader at the top. Leeds 30 points now. Some big scores here. So fourth place, Jay Montin 96, up into fourth. Bench boost on the charge. Nice work. That's a big bench boost. What's that? So 6, 8, 19, 20 points on a bench boost. That's pretty good. Can't grumble with that. So yeah, still the same leader, but catchable. And in terms of the game week, 104 top score this week. On a bench boost, Doherty in there, nice. Weatherall, decent bench boost. Front three all returned. It's a little bit like my team, that one. Midfield, a bit of a letdown. I'm up in 14th this week. A couple of poor weeks for me, but did well this week. 95 points. I bench boosted this week. Just thought all the guys were playing at home. Decent fixture. Don't think we're going to get any big doubles or trebles. We might do for Man United, but I don't think we're going to get one where there's like 5, 6, 7 teams all doubling. So I just thought, I'm just going to do it this week. They're all at home, decent fixtures. Not a massive return from it, but clean sheet, and they all started and got something. So yeah, so it's okay. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. 95 points, can't grumble. Really good, really happy with that at the back. Just didn't pick the right captain. I could have got team of the week. I wasn't far off it, but just didn't quite pick the right captain. But to be fair, Wallace was the only other one that I was seriously considering. I could have got another 6 points. But yeah, good stuff. And on to game week 30. Blackburn versus Newcastle. Blackburn will play normal at home as always. They always do. And Newcastle play normal away against these sort of averagely rep teams. So normal against normal. And Newcastle have done a bit better than I thought they would, actually. I mean, they've still got that massive clutch of blanks, which they sort of always have because of their rubbish tactic. But yeah, the 6 times they've hit 3 or more, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I would have thought that would be the other way round at least. Maybe Blackburn would have 6 and Newcastle might have 3 or 4. But interesting. I think it's still a better game for Blackburn percentage play, isn't it? Because they've only blanked twice, whereas Newcastle have blanked 8 times. And Blackburn have still scored twice a lot as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times they've scored at least twice. And you can't say that about Newcastle. So I still think it's a better game for Blackburn. Balance of probability, I think they'll win. But if you have to play someone like Shearer, you've got a better chance than I thought you'd have. So good news, I guess, if you're in that position. But I still like Blackburn, even in the games when Newcastle have scored a few. Blackburn have scored twice as well, and that's kind of all that matters, isn't it? From attacking assets, at least. And even for defensive assets, there's still a decent chance of a clean sheet. It's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Player returns. So Bent, often at the top at home for Blackburn because he's always plays up front when he plays. Shearer, Janssen, Robert, Dyer. De Boer, if he plays up front in our sim, will also be a reasonable pick as well, I think. That's Blackburn, Newcastle. Derby, Everton. So Derby will attack at home. Everton will play normal away. So fairly open game. Derby shading it. More aggressive tactic. At home, 5 times they've hit 3 or more. Hit a 4 there as well. Only blanked once. So yeah, it'll be a bit of a surprise if Derby don't score. It was definitely a surprise if they don't score, but a really good chance. You'd think they're probably going to score a couple at least, wouldn't you? Looking at this, and Everton a bit of a struggle. They're just as good as they are at home. Sometimes they're just not quite as good away, and they're struggling a little bit. Derby aren't brilliant, so they've got a little sneak. Player returns. Christie out in front. Burley from midfield. Di Matteo and Gravison. It's not terrible for them from the Everton midfield. Everton forwards, you've got half a chance. Say it is Derby at the end of the day, so it's not a hard sell unless you've got an obvious move to go to. I think Everton's fixtures are pretty good coming up, so I'd maybe consider that before you get rid of any Everton players for this game, because they've got half a chance in this game and they've got some good fixtures coming up, I think. But yeah, it does look a good home game for Derby. Leeds, Man United. So Leeds will play normal in this one, I think, because their tactic for tough home games is to play normal. But Man United will be defensive. So Leeds has still got the slightly more attacking tactic. They've got the offside trap against Man United's direct passing as well. So all in Leeds' favour really. It's a shame they're not going attacking. I think if they were, then it would be it would be quite clear cut. You'd expect them to win comfortably, but they're not quite going that aggressive. But even so, as I say, Man United are defensive. They've got direct passing against Leeds' offside trap. So it makes for a really, really tight game. Not too many goals. It's almost identical, isn't it? I mean, it's a negligible difference. There's really nothing to split them. Which is why I say it's a little bit of a shame from a Leeds perspective that they don't just attack it, because then I think it would be much more one-sided. But yeah, don't expect a lot of goals in this game. You get the odd occasion where one of the star men from either team can make it happen, but balance of probability is that it will be low scoring. Just for fun, I spotted this on my way through the Sims. I think Andy Cole ended up in goal here. Barthez got injured early. Roy Carroll came on and got himself sent off. So they took the lead. Carroll then got himself sent off a minute later, and Leeds equalised immediately, and then failed to stick one past Andy Cole in the last 10 minutes. Player returns, really low numbers. So all the guys you'd expect to see, but just not big numbers. Leicester Charlton. Leicester will attack their home game. Charlton play normal away against a low rep team like Leicester. And looks good. Looks good for Leicester, which you'd expect. Charlton are terrible, aren't they? Leicester are going to attack them. So 7 times they've hit 3 or more. 7 clean sheets as well. Charlton struggling a bit. So yeah, good. 1 week punt. Don't hate Leicester at all if you're chasing, and we get some interesting Leicester team news. Might even consider that myself. Might be time for Wallace to move on, for example, or Lundberg maybe. These are the kind of punts to be looking for from now until the end to try and make up some ground and finish as high as possible, I think. And the return. So is it? I'm not sure if he'll be back from injury or not. We'll wait and see the news from the stream from Luke and Andy on Sunday. Sturridge, Wise, Wilcox, yeah, all the guys you'd expect. You'll probably wasn't far behind, but much better game for Leicester. Hopefully we can get some information about who's attacking for them. Sweet. Liverpool, Ipswich. Liverpool will attack the home game. Ipswich will play defensive against a higher rep team. And yeah, we've seen this. How many times have we seen this season? It's just the Liverpool home game against one of the also-rans, isn't it? This is what it looks like. We've seen it enough times now. You can predict it. They look like they're going to win, but they don't hit 3+ goals as much as some other teams when they get a good home game like this. 3-0 win for Ipswich, but it was massively red card effective. That was a first half red card. All the goals came after it. And even the 0-0s down here, there's a few 0-0s, but 2 of them Brannigan got man of the match, so it gives you an idea of how they went. So yeah, on another day, perhaps they could have had a goal or 2 as well. So good game for Liverpool again. Thinking of 1 week punts and seeing what you can do from now until the end. Don't hate picking a Liverpool striker this week at all. And Littmanen came out on top for me, but if it's Littmanen and Heskey up top, I think Heskey could do well in this game. We know Owen's injured. Not sure about Fowler. I think is he injured as well? I can't remember. But yeah, if we get the Liverpool forwards, decent punt, I think. Man City Borough. Man City will attack at home. Borough normal. And I think Middlesbrough did a bit better than I expected in this game. I kind of always feel like Man City are going to do well at home against anybody but the big boys, really. And they've not done bad. They've hit 3 a couple of times. They've hit 2 a good handful of times. Only blanked 6 times. It's not a huge amount, I suppose, but I just didn't expect Borough to be hitting 4 and 5, and I didn't expect that. But there you go. They are towards the top of the league, though. They've got a good team, haven't they? So yeah, perhaps shouldn't question it. This is what happened. Ran it 20 times. So these are the results. Decent week for Borough. Better than I thought it would be. Player returns. So Rickard, Cepeda, Thiago Huckabee. Again, you could guess these names, couldn't you? Marinelli, interesting. He seems to be in the Borough team now. He's played a few times now. So doing really well. Miller, I really like as well. Been trying to find a way to get Miller in my team for ages, and I haven't done it. And he keeps returning. He didn't this week. I do really like Charlie Miller as a pick. It's one of those where you can't have everybody. I should have picked him over Lundberg like 4 weeks ago. There you go, Celavi. Millwall, Chelsea. Millwall play normal, or maybe they'll play attacking. I'm not 100% sure, because they did attack the likes of Liverpool at home earlier in the season, so they might play attacking. It was a bit of a mix for me, and it was also hard to tell because Chelsea are so good defensively anyway. Like, even looking at the sim results, I couldn't decide which way to put it. So I don't think this is concrete, but as I say, because Chelsea are so good defensively anyway, I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference. But these were the results over 20. So yeah, 0 times Millwall have hit 3+. Chelsea done it 5 times, kept 8 clean sheets. So decent game for Chelsea. Player returns. Petit was really consistent from midfield in this, in my sims. Forsell up front. Good Johnson. Leon Knight played a few times and stole a couple of goals. So yeah, it's one of those where the returns get spread around just because you're running it so many times. But basically, Chelsea attack good. Spurs, Watford. Spurs will attack at home. Watford will play normal. And yeah, Spurs battering Watford really. So it's 4-4-2 against 4-4-2, more aggressive tactic. Watford's defence isn't great. Spurs attack is can be good on its day. They've got some good players up front, a little bit inconsistent, but we see in the game they're all priced highly, aren't they? Rebrov and Selakovic, Poirier, they're all expensive players because they can do it. They've just been really inconsistent in our sim. But this looks good. This looks good for them. Another good chance to get some points. 9 times 3+ goals. Watford, they've only blanked 6 times, so it's not terrible away from home, and they've hit 3 twice. Another handful of 2s. So yeah, I think Petkov's the only one really. Petkov and Ghali. So yeah, definitely wouldn't be starting Ghali in this game. But Petkov could happen if they're going to score a goal. There's a good chance he's involved. And player returns. So Anderton, Selakovic, Poirier, Rebrov. Anderton's been really consistent in my sim since McLeish came in. He was rarely, if ever, anywhere near this list when Hoddle was in charge. But now they play 4-4-2, and he plays a bit further up the pitch. He's on here quite a lot. Sunderland, Bolton. Sunderland will attack at home. Bolton will play normal. So there's not too many defensive teams this week, is there? Which is good. And Sunderland on top, so they're at home. They're attacking. They've got 4-4-2, so they've got that extra man out wide against Bolton's wing backs. Everything in their favour, really. So would expect them to come out on top comfortably, and that's what they're doing. But again, they're not Man United, are they? And Bolton have got some decent attacking options, so you get the handful of games where they can do it. The balance of probability is Bolton are struggling, and Sunderland look good to score a couple of goals, don't they? At least only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 15 times out of 20 they've scored at least twice. Really good game for Sunderland. And these returns. So Gray. So yeah, as mentioned, they've got extra man out wide. So that makes it a good game for Gray. He doesn't pop up often, but it's all in his favour if he plays. Yeah, Phillips, Libra, both on here. Teal, McCann, Arca. Pretty good. Take your pick from Sunderland, really. Whatever fits your team, fits your budget. It's a decent option this week. And finally, Villa Arsenal. This is attack versus attack. But it's not produced as many goals as I thought it might. But then saying that, I feel like I've said this before. When you get two teams that are 4-4-2, and the weaker team is at home, sometimes it sort of cancels it out a little bit. There's no overloads anywhere on the pitch. The better team are the away team, so it doesn't quite all go off as it sometimes can when you've got attack versus attack. It's got some of the ingredients, but of a goal fest, but not all of them. But both teams are scoring regularly, just not in huge numbers. So you wouldn't really back either team for a clean sheet, would you? And both teams are scoring twice, a reasonable handful. Both teams to score is happening a lot. So yeah, it's not bad. It's just not quite got the ceiling that I thought that it might do. But yeah, something like 2-1 either way or 2-2. I think is fairly likely for this one. And Angel was the only player that came out on the list, but I wouldn't worry about it. I think there were 19 separate players that got a return over the 20 sims, which is a lot, like by a long way more than any of the other matches. It just got spread around a bit in the sims, but if we think we know the lineups, then you can narrow it down, can't you? Where the goals will come from. So that's it, and I haven't cut out my top returners, have I? So what should we do about that? We can just have a quick recap, perhaps on my spready. Game week 30. We just have a quick scroll back across. Comments. So this is all a bit small, isn't it? So yeah, Blackburn, really good game. A few different players in there. Derby, Malcolm Christie, Ravanelli's back from injury. That looks good. Man United, Leeds off the table, I think, in terms of top returns. Liverpool, I think, could have been on there on another day, like the Liverpool forwards this week. Leicester, really good. Tottenham, really good. Middlesbrough did well, and Chelsea. So I think in terms of top returners, I'd be looking at Derby, Chelsea, and Tottenham, I think. Derby, Chelsea, and Tottenham. Yeah, go for it. Why not? Defence look ahead. Bit like this. Yeah, take from it what you will. I think my position on it is still the same as it has been for the last few weeks now. Just the reliable guys that we know about. There's nothing outside of that. The fixture list isn't throwing up any differentials that I'd be mad to get on, really, from a defensive point of view. The only thing I suppose you might want to consider is Bolton's run there isn't too bad. 3 home games in a row. A lot of people have already got Gardner, but Schimmiker seems to be first choice now, doesn't he? And if he's on the pitch, he takes penalties, it looks like. So maybe a 4.5 option there for you if you want to do something different at the back. If you've got some deadwood that isn't playing or whatever, maybe Schimmiker's an option. And attack look ahead. Arsenal still flowing through with the greens, I think. Although, yeah, maybe they shouldn't have been green this week. So I'd that would have been a prediction that they'd be green, but yeah, maybe they're more amber this week. I don't know. They're still a good team though. They're away. They're attacking. I wouldn't rule it out. Chelsea's run is good. They got Millwall, then they've got Ipswich at home, Middlesbrough at home, Bolton away. Good run for Chelsea. I mentioned Everton's run isn't bad coming up. So Derby away, it looks all right for them. It's an away game that they can score in for sure. Then Leeds at home. Yeah, it's not great, but at least they're at home. And then they've got Millwall away and Sunderland at home, which I think will be good games for them. Liverpool, good run. Ipswich home, Middlesbrough away, Charlton home, Newcastle away. Good run that for Liverpool. Man United and Watford, I think. Petkov's been a bit frustrating recently, although he did return this week. So I think if I had him, I don't have him, but if I had him, I'd definitely be keeping a hold of him for this run. And if you've got some other deadwood in your midfield, maybe it's not a bad time to get back on him. Decent little run there, especially those home games, Derby and Leicester at home. Watford are well capable of scoring 3-4 goals in those games. So that's it then, I think. Good luck with the game week, everybody, and see you next time. Cheers.